Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of Community Connects with Reconnected to Life. I'm Rachel Hart and Kinda Blumberg is waving so we don't talk over one another. And Kassandra Molle is joining us today to talk about breath work as meditation. So we have been doing these Community Connects series based on one of the 4 seeds of self-care, and we have been on meditation lately, so we are super excited to have Kassandra join us. Hey Kassandra.
Hi everybody.
Thank you again for coming on. And real quick, I want to give you Kassandra's bio that she sent to us. So Kassandra discovered yoga in 2001. She crafts yoga, breathwork, and meditation classes for students at all levels to inspire joy and heal trauma. She is known for empowering students and helping them find peace through focusing on how the practice feels. Kassandra believes yoga is for everyone and is currently working on her 500 YTT, which stands for Yoga Teacher Training, right?
Correct.
So the 200-hour RYT, what does that stand for?
So that's just Yoga Alliance's recognition that it's a certified yoga teacher training course.
Okay.
So
you completed your 200-hour.
Yep, I completed the 200 hours. So basically I'm now working on a 300 hour, which added together makes me a 500 hour certified teacher. So 200 is your basic certification.
Gotcha. I always see yoga instructors with those numbers behind it and never really know what that means. So
I know.
Thank you for clarifying. So our Community Connects obviously is here to connect one another based on the 4 seeds of self-care: eating well, sleeping well, meditation, and exercise, because we believe that consistent practice of the 4 seeds of self-care will help us to accomplish our goals more easier and connect with our community and foster more meaningful relationships. So with that being said, give us a little background about yourself. What do you want people to know? What has inspired you to take this yoga teacher training and then move on to breath work? And what are you really hoping to accomplish through all of it?
You might have to remind me of all those points, but
Just
I'll start off with
your story, basically.
Okay. I have always been super fond of yoga and breathwork and meditation and the way it makes me feel. So I have, I discovered it in college, my first year of college, and I, started practicing it then. And it really helped me then with, just the trials and tribulations of being in college and being stressed out and navigating, beginning adulthood by yourself and things like that. It also helped me connect with friends and other people, and just get into working out and taking care of my body, which led to, nutrition. And that's really when I started dabbling in becoming a vegetarian and what that means, and what that means for me, what that means for the world, why we would do something like that. So that just kind of started my whole discovery process with that. I was studying becoming a teacher. So that's what, my degrees are in early childhood education. So I taught first grade in the public school system for a long time, and I loved it a lot. I had my first child with Rachel, and I started staying at home, and that really, I had my yoga practice throughout all of these years, but I realized as a mother, having a yoga, meditation, and breathwork practice really helped me be with myself, with my body, and it helps me, and it helped me then really be present in the moment. And really that's the key takeaway in yoga: being present, being here, being able to use the tools that you have within yourself to achieve, you know, the magical awesomeness that you're trying to achieve. What else did I miss?
One thing that you said in the beginning, oh, what was it? I was just thinking of it.
Well, while you're thinking, can I make a comment?
Please.
And that is, you mentioned your yoga practice and how that helped you as a parent, as a mother, to be present with your children, because I feel like I'll speak for myself, but I know in speaking for myself, but in talking to many other women and mothers, that, you know, motherhood is one of those things it is very hard to be in the present moment, you know, and to really enjoy all the moments and all the phases of motherhood and childhood and all of those things, and really be present to enjoy those. When we're in it, sometimes it doesn't seem like it goes very fast, but, you know, so sometimes we're wishing for things to be different than what they are. And so I love that, how you brought that to your practice, that mindfulness to parenthood. And also, I'm sure what an amazing, you know, role model to show your children how to sit and be still and be with yourself and be mindful and be quiet and all of those things. I love doing yoga with children. So
Yes,
awesome.
yes. Practicing yoga with children is very different than practicing yoga with adults. It's interesting how they're so open and they don't have a lot of the limiting beliefs that we have as adults. They're really open-minded and they don't typically get down on themselves like, I'm not flexible, I can't do that. I can't tell you, I pretty much hear that from every single yoga student that I work with, or people who I'm just talking to yoga about their, you know, the first thing they say is, yoga's not for me, I'm not flexible enough, or meditation's not for me, my mind won't stop. And I'm hoping, you know, we can kind of debunk that myth with meditation today, because that is a very debilitating belief that people have, and it keeps them from that practice. And, you know, we'll discuss, that's not really what it's about.
That's perfect. Yeah. That's one of meditation as one of the 4 C's of self-care, is just really make it very accessible to people. It's really not, it doesn't have to be that complicated. It's as simple as sitting still and paying attention to your breath and being with yourself. So that's just perfect what you just said.
So when in your bio you were very specific that you really believe that yoga is for everyone. Mm-hmm. And you want people to know it. And that's interesting because in my blog, I know you read it. I was talking about meditation and just like how popular the belief that, you know, it's only for people who are flexible, or it's more of a religious practice than just for health and wellness.
Right. I have encountered a lot of students who are religious, who, you know, kind of the first thing they ask me is this a religion? Yeah. And, you know, we discuss that a lot because yoga is not a religion. It's a practice. However, a lot of times spirituality, which is not necessarily religion, you know, go hand in hand with yoga, having a spiritual practice, or, you know, a belief in the universe or a God or a higher power. That's very popular. However, that is, of course, not necessary. Again, what was the other point you made? I'm sorry. Oh, that it's for everyone. You know, that really is my goal, is to help people understand that yoga, and under the umbrella of yoga, breathwork and meditation fall under that. So when I say yoga, I mean the physical practice of yoga, like the poses, what you would think about when you see yoga. So the physical practice, the asana, as well as the meditation and the breath work. You know, I think people have another limiting belief. They have an idea in their head of what they think a yogi looks like, and they don't fit that mold. And so they're like, nope, not doing it. And it kind of gives me chills right now, because it is so beneficial and so helpful and so healing. And the fact that anybody would feel that way, I really hope to debunk that.
Do you think that there is also more prevalent among women versus men as far as practitioners? And why do you think that is?
Right now it's about a 70-30 split was the latest data that I read a couple weeks ago, 70% female to the 30% male. I don't know, maybe, you know, yoga has a very strong emotional component, an empathy component. And of course, men are just as capable of empathy and emotion as we are. However, having 2 sons and reading the plethora of books and research that I have read, you know, growing up in our society, men have a hard time expressing their emotions. And they're taught from a young age, you know, to just like figure it out, pull yourself up from your bootstraps. You're not going to be crying. And so, you know, I think that, of course, things that happen to us in childhood travel with us through the rest of our lives. And as an adult, you know, we have a choice. Okay, are we going to stick with this limiting belief, or are we going to shift that into something new?
Right.
As thunders out my window.
Yeah, it got really dark in here because there's a storm
right now.
I need to like turn a light on.
It's like almost nighttime. It's that dark.
Look at my screen. I feel like I need to go turn a light on. You can hardly see me. I'm gonna turn on.
The other part of your bio is talking about healing, yoga for healing trauma.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to say about that, and in what ways have you seen that?
You know, in my own personal life, I really attribute a lot of my emotional well-being and my joy and happiness to, you know, having the practice of yoga long before I encountered difficult times in my life. And I don't know that if I didn't have that in place, how I would be now. Like, you know, I tell people all the time, yoga saved my life. And I don't, you know, they don't, unless I sit here and explain, which I will with you guys, it's hard to understand. But with a breathwork, meditation, and physical yoga practice, you know, it being on the mat and encountering difficulty, like holding a pose that hurts, or not hurts, you know, you shouldn't ever hurt in yoga, but something that's difficult, and wrestling with your mind and meditation and all these thoughts coming and going, it's a lot, you know. And when you're in a safe place on the mat and you are enduring that and dealing with that on the mat, you can then take that, what you've learned in that situation, out into real life, and it really translates. And I think, you know, one of the key things is having a consistent practice. You know, this is not something that you can do like once a month and be like, yeah, I do yoga, like I should be good. You know, it's something that really you need to embody. You need to be yoga, you know, in order for it to happen in a deep, deep way. You know, in 2012, my mom passed away. So, you know, things like this happen. Our parents pass away before us, and that, you know, is just kind of something that is part of life. And it was very, very quick. It was very shortly after my first child was born, and she had cancer, and it just happened very quickly. So that was kind of one of my very first traumatic situations. Luckily, you know, I was an adult. I was married, I was older, I had my family. I have a lot of friends and support. But during that time, I very deeply delved into my practice, and I felt a lot of solace there. And then in 2017, just about 2.5 years ago, my husband suddenly passed away. And that, of course, rocked my world. You know, a knock on the door and my life was changed forever. And so I did not practice yoga for about 3.5 months because it's a very spiritual experience for me to be practicing yoga. And it's also very emotional. And I couldn't go there. I was scared to go there. I didn't know that I would ever smile again, much less practice yoga again. And I remember my friends were like, why are you not doing yoga? And I was like, I'm gonna do it, okay? And I remember the first time I got on the mat after that, and I was hysterically crying and I just couldn't do it. And I just laid on the mat. But slowly but surely, I got back into the practice, and, you know, everything's great. I don't know, like it helps you, especially from a spiritual perspective, to think about, you know, we don't understand why things happen in life. I don't have answers to things. People don't have answers. Like, we don't know what's going to happen to us in 10 minutes when we get off this call, or 20 minutes, whatever. You know, we just don't know. But something that is really huge for me that yoga taught me is acceptance. You know, that was my mantra for a long time. I kind of stick with a mantra for a while in my practice. And acceptance was my mantra, because, you know, learning to accept the things that we can't do anything about, and just really meditating on that acceptance. I mean, that can go just for like accepting that the person who was driving in front of you cut you off. You know, it's as simple, and it applies to everyday life.
I always tell you how interesting it is that your husband's name was Matt.
Mm-hmm.
And you're always on your mat.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That connection until you told me that.
And then, so the thing that I wanted to tell you too about today's planner, because you're on here because I obviously think that we both think that you have a gift that people need to hear, that your firsthand experience of trauma shows how powerful yoga can be for healing in what some could say one of the worst circumstances imaginable. And yet here you are, transformed into this new person where the old will never be forgotten, of course, but you have the power and strength and inspiration to not only move forward, but to move forward carrying new gifts with the world who need to hear your story. So today, on my planner, this is, it says, where there is joy after tragedy, there will always be an example to be followed. Where there is joy after tragedy, there will always be an example to be followed, which means that people need to hear your story, because you're the example that they need to reignite the light within them that has been dimmed by whatever tragedy, hardship they have been enduring. So this work is of utmost importance now more than ever. I am going to turn this over to Kinda. I have something that I have to confess, and that is, Kinda, this Zoom call, for the first time, they just gave me the notification that they're going to cut us off in T-4 minutes. So there's a lot of good material here, and I don't know if redoing this is going to be a good thing. So in 4 minutes, I'm going to let you say anything you guys want to say to each other, and then if we cut off on our upcoming events, we'll post it in the comments.
Exactly. So first, just in the event that we do, Kassandra, thank you so much for sharing your story. I agree with Rachel that it's so important for other people to hear our stories. And that's one of the ways that they connect with us. So I know somebody's going to listen to this, watch this, and have that connection with your story. And I think it's so important, especially when it comes to grief and things like that. Those are very hard things to accept. That was the word you said, accept. So thank you very much for sharing your story. And if you'd like to share with us as far as how people can find you to follow your breath work, your yoga. I've taken your breath work classes, amazing. I loved it. The other morning I jumped on and it was really great. How can people find you to jump on those?
Yes, thank you for saying that. Thank you guys for having me. So my email is Kassandra with a K, Brooke with an E, yoga@gmail.com. On Instagram, Namaste Your Life. And my Facebook is Kassandra Brooke Molle, Molle. I guess you guys will link it up. But you guys can always, contact me through there. And I am new to social media, so it is just in the very tiny little baby beginnings. So if you guys want to, get on there and follow me on Instagram and just patiently await, I will make sure to post everything up on there and keep you guys updated. I do weekly community classes. Yes, Rachel.
Kassandra Brooke at Gmail.
Yoga, Kassandra Brooke Yoga.
At Gmail. And then also Kassandra is
with a K.
Kassandra is also joining us on our September 18th retreat, where she will teach yoga and breath work. So
it will be fabulous.
Join us.
But anyways, contact me through there, and I'm happy to share all of my information with you guys, classes, private classes, whatever it is you're interested in, just contact me, and I am so happy to share with you guys.
Thank you.
So I'll post all that too.
Okay.
I'll just tell you our upcoming events right now. We are on day 3 of our 30-day self-care challenge, which has been really awesome. We've had some really great feedback and a lot of people jumping on to join that for a self-care reboot. So today's day 3, and when we post this video, we'll still have some time left. So jump on. You can always go back to prior posts and have a look. And we have our Connected workshop we're partnering with Beyond Reorganized Healing, and that's going to be on Sunday, August 16th from 1 as well. And then as Rachel just mentioned, and Kassandra as well, we'll have our next Reconnect retreat on September 18th. That's a Friday from 9 to 4. That'll be in Canton. It's a day retreat dedicated to self-care. So we hope you can join us for that. Did I forget any events, Rachel?
We also have new coaching packages listed on our website. So you can check that out and feel free to sign up for a personal coaching session or a series of them. And our Self-Centered Women group, the new one, will be starting in January. So mark that on your calendars so you can get in on that.